Cheers, mi
Salud,
amor.
cheers, cheers.
Welcome to Live It to Mulet.
I'm so happy to be here with you, Mama, and everyone here.
How are you?
I'm good, Mommy. Better now that I'm with you, with everyone, and drinking some whiskey with coconut water. If you have any question, you can ask in English, pero tenemos que, tú sabes, trabajar este cubaneo y esta
El
cuestión
cubaneo,
boricua.
puertorriqueño.
Spanish and English, so we can, so have a little bit more fun. But yeah, I'm here in Puerto Rico since the 18, and I've been here with my family. Like estoy acá con la familia, cooking a lot, eating a lot, doing a lot of workouts,
Okay,
yoga. I've been trying to explore a little bit more of yoga. It's
life.
intense, but at the same time, like I'm happy because I'm here. I'm with my
Mhm.
family on my island. I love the island. I love the weather. My niece, like today, nos fuimos afuera. We went outside and like con la manguera. ¿Cómo se dice
Oh,
manguera
nice.
en inglés? The hose,
A
whatever.
host?
Right, the hose?
Yeah.
Yeah, the hose. La manguera, whatever. Si me vuelvo loco, if I get crazy, I'm going to get crazy with my family instead of being alone because it's hard. And
Yeah.
before coming here, I was having a little bit of a hard time in New York. You know how it is. But at the same time, I was like,
Yeah.
I didn't, no pensé dos veces and to came back to Puerto Rico for a little bit. And I'm
Yeah.
telling you, I mean, I love all the people. I hope everyone in New York is being safe. And
Yeah.
we give you all your support. Remember to always reach out. So it's important. You're not alone. Right now, we have this. So this is
Yeah.
important because this is the best way so we can communicate right now. And then after the quarantine, we can kiss and hug.
So how did you started acting? Because you are an actor first, right?
Dancer, actually. Yeah. I
I knew it,
started.
but I wanted you to tell me.
Yeah, no, I started dancing when I was in sixth grade. All the talent shows and everything. So, NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, Christina Aguilera, Britney. I was, the dance boy, blah blah blah, and all the talent shows. So I started in sixth grade. Then I went to the con una academia de baile, an academy, a dance academy, and I have a little bit of ballet, hip hop, jazz. So I trained as a dancer first. And then, and when I got 15 years old, I joined a folkloric dance company que se llama Jíbaro
Mhm.
de Puerto Rico. That's my other family because I was there since when I had 15 years old, cuando tenía 15 años, hasta mis 29 años when I moved to New York. So yeah,
How do you feel? How does it feel to be part of the Rent family? Because I mean, for me, I speak for the people that I know that been in the show. It's kind of like life changing. For some reason, that show has something that,
definitely,
and you
definitely.
were so
Like
young when you did it.
yeah, I mean, I saw the movie first. That's when I discovered Rent, when I saw the movie. And I went to the movie theater 3 times to watch the movie. So and apparently the movie was, a flat, like, no
Yeah.
fue muy, pero para mí fue like, whoa, this is something that I love, the music, the characters, something that I can relate. And I was like, okay, I need to watch it again. And Season of Love, y todo lo demás, La Lloradera. And then when I discovered they did the live on stage. So when I
Hmm.
saw the show live on stage, that was another slap on my face. And then when I got to do the show, for me was like, whoa, whoa. And actually, también es un show que para mí, as a singer, uh, I discover a little bit more of my voice because I used to dance and act a little bit more, but that was the first time that I got like a solo for Season of
Hmm.
Love, and you know how is that solo, and on stage version of Rents, there's a lot of soloists going on, so I got most of those, and for me it was a challenge, but okay, it's like okay, I can do this, and it was a mixed feeling because it was like I'm leaving the island, but in my case, the most important thing was my family. So I talked to them and I let them know, and they knew that I wanted to, pursue my career and I needed to move on. As a professional, I was like, I need to step up my game. When I auditioned the first time for On Your Feet, that was my first time. That was before Hurricane Maria. And in that moment, that my first callback ever in New York was in front of Jerry Mitchell, Andy Senor. Like that was in April. So because I sent that tape from Puerto Rico and I had that callback, un Viernes Santo, I remember. I went to New York on Monday and I didn't get it. But after Eureka Maria, I move on. So I move and I started working on a store, and then on January, Chelsea called me that they were looking for a replacement for tour, and because they saw me on April, they wanted me to audition. Chelsea was like, okay, fine. Then the second audition was a dance call. So on the dance call, that's when I met Marina, actually, that dance call, because we're like so small. So Maria Torres says like, you two, because you're so small and
You're
short,
two together.
you're gonna be together, okay? But I got the last call back in front of Jerry Mitchell. So that was a Friday. So that night, that day, I went to the audition. I saw Marina again, and after that day, we had to wait like a week, waiting and waiting for the call, for the
Before
call,
you
for the
knew.
call. And I remember that I was like, you know what? I was in my boxers. I was in my cousin's house, and I was like, okay, let me start over getting a new job, because the retail store that I used to work, it was a part-time thing. And sitting in front of the computer, I got a call from my manager, and she told me, it's like, congratulations. And I was like, I start crying, jumping around, crazy. I called my parents, and like I told everyone. And then suddenly in 2 days, I was in Omaha or something like that. They just called me that they
Yeah.
need me to fly very fast.
What was your first impression when you first got to New York that you were like, okay, I'm actually gonna live here. This is gonna be my city, and you know, and then a couple of months that you had before you booked the tour, which it was like a major thing for you for your career and everything. How was that process for you?
It's funny because the first time that I moved, it was because more of the hurricane and that urgency of you need to make money, you need to keep working, you need to move on. We finished tour a year ago today,
Today.
so it's like a very emotional. Yeah, it's an emotional day
Yeah.
for all of us. And then when I came back to New York, I went to my cousin's house, and I was like, okay, now I'm gonna officially move here. I did the first on your feet regional in Long Island, so I did that, and then after that, that was when officially it was like, okay, I'm gonna live here. So and on June last year was the first time that I was like, okay, mindset that I'm gonna move, that I'm gonna buy some stuff, that I'm gonna have my own bed. After a few years in that process of being like moving and moving and moving, and because I experienced the summer in New York, that changed my mind of the way to see New York. Like I fell in love with New York because in the summer.
How was that first time that you were on stage being Emilio as like you were that track, like you owned it? How was that feeling for you?
Well, first of all, I need to go a little bit more back because it's something with you. Remember that night that I was on my regular track, and it was like, I think it was a week after we already started, that I was crying backstage in the second act. I remember that you were next to me, and you told me you were meant to be here. Okay, so and you give me a hug. We were like getting ready for Wrapped, I think, for the song, and because
Yeah.
of Wrapped, it's very emotional. I remember that I did the whole song crying. I was sobbing. I was like, I couldn't stop, and it was so
Yeah.
hot. So that was, I think, that was the moment that I was like, I realized that one of my dreams came true. That was like the moment. Like, of course, you got all the excitement that you got booked the tour and everything, but because you went to rehearsals, you don't got time to think. You're so focused to this stuff, and then when you got the opportunity to enjoy the show, you just be there and recognize that first of all, you're meant to be there, and that's your job, and you're doing what you love, and that was the moment for me that I was like, whoa. Y me cayó el balde de agua fría. For Emilio, that was another surprise.
Wow.
I think that first week I was like, I think we were in Nashville that first week that I went on as an official Emilio. And I was like, having fun, enjoying and everything. But at the same time, maybe after that week was like when you realize and you embody that, okay, you're Emilio, you can play with it. You can,
Hmm.
because of course, I mean, yo vi mucho a Mauricio, vi mucho a Hector. And of course, those are role models and you admire them and you know the way that they're doing. But at the same time, after a little bit, it's like you're trying to deconstruct a little bit and trying to do it your own. As an understudy, like I went on a few times, but it's not the same time when you do it 8 times a
It's not
week
the
and
same.
you can actually play with it.
Because you don't
And
have
for
time. You, as an understudy, you just go. Sometimes they tell you to go on the same day, And then there's so many things to think about that you don't
Yeah.
really think about, like the performer, like the
No.
acting part of it, the process of like the emotions, and like you
Sure,
can't
focus
play the
only and
character.
remember the lines.
And remember the
Just
lines
like
and entrances
remember
and
the
the
lines of the
changes, and like
blocking.
not hitting
Yeah.
anyone, not like, just like to hit the show. You're like, the show has to happen, it has to be good.
Yeah, I know we will always say like familia, familia, but we actually feel that. Like we were having fun every night. It,
Yeah,
it never felt like a job. Even in
never.
those days that we're like tired and our body was aching or we were traveling, but we always know that at the end of that show in the mega mix, we will go up and we were gonna feel fine and we were like
Yeah.
smiling no matter what. It was very interesting how the locals talk about us because of the show, because the Latin community and the way that I remember it happened in a few cities that most of the locals told us, "Oh my God, you guys are having fun. You guys are
Because we
actually
were.
enjoying the show." And for me, it was like a slap on my face. I mean, first of all, because it's my first gig in the U.S., and second of all, because I'm having so much fun. I mean, it's another culture, but us, we always make a party, and we know that how we actually have fun backstage all the time.
This show specifically, I was talking to someone the other day, and I was saying, and the Heights also have that. Like, it's that kind of shows that you Rent has that. Rent is
Yes.
deeper, it's like darker, but even when you are in the show, the first chords that start playing, it's just like everything's just like passed by, and then you're like, when you're on stage, you're like, ah, and you leave, and then you end up the show, and you're like, wow, that was incredible. How was the first time you said, as Emilio, you said the line, "This is what an American looks like," being from Puerto Rico?
So it's really interesting because as a Puerto Rican, we are American citizens. I cannot say that it's the same feeling as a Cuban person that needs to go through all the process of papers and like,
Mm-hmm.
joderse para tener un
Mm-hmm.
canto de papel que diga que soy un americano. In my case as a
Yep.
Puerto Rican, we have that privilege, just to put it like that way, because I put it this way because sometimes we are not treated like American citizens because people doesn't know, because people doesn't educate themselves, and because we're from a island, it's just like the same thing as in Cuba or South America, and not saying in a despective way. It's just because people don't know. Like our mix is really interesting. Our mix as a Cuban, Dominican, Puerto Ricans, the Caribbean. I mean, we have a really amazing mix from Europe, Spain,
Mm-hmm.
Africa, and all the
Everywhere.
Latinos. Everywhere. It's sad that when a Latino tells you that, and there's a lot of New Yorkers telling me that in New York, and it's like, bro, come on. This is my accent, bro. I have an accent, okay? If that's not proof enough, vamos allá. It was interesting because I embodied not necessarily being a Cuban going through that process as a Puerto Rican telling someone that it's not educated or doesn't know about how I am as a Puerto Rican, as an American citizen. Like I honestly, I nunca tuve que pensar como una persona indocumentada. As a Puerto
Mm-hmm.
Rican, I say those lines and it hits me because I felt that way and so many times. Like let's
Yeah.
just say maybe in an audition. Like
Mm-hmm.
in my case, oh, but you look like gringo, like whatever. Yeah, but sometimes I got callbacks or something as Latino, and when they saw me, it's like, oh, but you look like a white guy. No matter what, I'm Latino, but I'm gonna go to the struggle in so many ways. So I embodied that as a
We're all gonna
benefit in my
go like,
case. We all gonna go that way, but en vez de tomarlo como algo malo, I embody it as a good thing. This guy over
is that
here.
you? No way.
Yes.
Eddie.
Yeah. I know.
¿Cómo comprobarías que fue primero, si el huevo o la gallina? 3, 2, 1.
The fuck?
What
Me
makes
mata.
you more nervous?
Believe it or not, sing.
Really?
Yes.
If you were able to know one thing from the future, what it would
Okay.
be?
If he's gonna win, maybe that. If he's gonna win,
Yes, Bravo,
to
bravo.
see if I'm gonna
Yes.
move to the moon or something like that.
Okay, what would be the perfect day for you?
Anywhere on the beach. I love the beach. Just to relax.
What do you think you deserve that you don't have? Three, two, one.
Yo, that's intense. That's deep. My place, a house. Um, oh my God. Yeah, I mean, there's always a moment in my life that I thought I was Superman. And I was in the second floor in my grandma's house, and I was with my uncle. And I put a towel around my neck, and I jumped. I said, Superman! Y yo me tiré del segundo piso, and my uncle was like trying to grab me, and he just grabbed the towel. I mean, it was very loose, so the towel didn't affect me. But I jumped from a second floor, and yeah, I hit a little bit on my head, but I was fine.
What's the best way to comfort you when you're having a really bad day?
Watch movies or just put some music on just to relax and actually talk. Not just, yeah, just talk. Both of us. Not only just listen to me because I'm not that kind of person. I like to have a conversation and just like, let's just talk and yeah. Or sometimes I just want to like listen, whatever you have to say. No hagas lo que no te gusta que te hagan.
Say it in
How do you
English.
say that in
People
English?
need to know. Don't
Don't
do
do
don't
what
do
you
what
don't
you don't
like,
like someone else to do to
what you
you,
don't like someone else to do to you. Like that's,
right?
yeah, that's my motto. Like don't do that. Like no. Well, the thing is, I auditioned for Hamilton with one of the Angelicas, like the Schuler sisters. But this time for me is like a moment to reflect, to try to organize my life to see what's going to happen post this pandemic thing.
Do you think we're learning something from this situation?
Definitely. Like, I'm trying to be specific in that, but it's just like trying to be happy with ourselves, how to learn to be happy with our surrounding. We are all humans. We are all in the same boat, going through the same process. How are we gonna make this better? So the first thing is like to make it better, like for yourself in a way that you feel happy and find that happiness with yourself. That in my case, I'm happy because I'm with my family, but I'm still discovering that and exploring that a little bit more of myself. To be comfortable with yourself, even when people say something different, and learn all the time. Be a sponge. Like no matter what I said, something huge, it can be something little, or any experience that you're going through in a show. That's your school.
Thank you so much for that. That was Eddie Noel, guys. If you're at home and you can clap, just clap for him because
Yo,
he's
that
an
was
amazing person, and
fast.
I'm so thankful for having you in the show.